Welcome back to Ho Wayne's Football Theory. Today, I'm gonna comment on a Premier League big match. Liverpool vs Arsenal. The main reason that makes it necessary for Arsenal to do a full-court pressing is to prevent Liverpool from building up an attack comfortably by speeding up the game, minimizing the individual class of Liverpool and maximizing the ability for Arsenal for fast breaks up front. This tactical approach also reduces the successful build-ups and lofted cross-attacks for Liverpool. As you can see, Arsenal gained decent success rate in doing this whenever they brought this tactic to the table occasionally. However, the approach to only do full-court pressing occasionally is a problem. Resting in between pressing and the intentions to preserve stamina when doing it means that there's simply not enough pace for back-and-forth exchange for attacks, leaving rooms for Liverpool to keep possession, forcing Arsenal to sit back a lot which could have been avoided, decreasing the chances for fast breaks and counter-attacks to threat the jaded defense of Liverpool. Mikel Arteta probably may have taken this approach due to the compacted schedule in the upcoming weeks, so he decided to conserve more energy considering they didn't aim for the Premier League title this year. This is understandable, but the problem of this approach is that it will expose the gaps of individual class, creating a huge disadvantage for Arsenal. On the other hand, Liverpool brought up series of full-court pressing. I had to praise Liverpool for keeping it up and press even after the break, and it actually worked pretty well. All I can say is good effort from their behalf. However, Liverpool gets into a mid-section pressing condition as Arsenal passes though the pressing networks by short passes. The problems against Leeds occurs for Liverpool. The dense line simply can't handle direct attacks without the protection of pressing tactics. This is exactly how Arsenal took the lead, passing their way out of the full-court pressing network with one-touch football, allowing Aubameyang to face the backline of Liverpool directly and cuts into the box, forcing Robertson to make a mistake. It is easy to assess that if there are enough pressing efforts, Arsenal will take the lead for sure in the first half. On the other hand, although Liverpool has enough pace for counters today, it is still not enough for them to score. All the goals for Liverpool today were scored when Arsenal sat back, which proves sitting back does not fit the current Arsenal. 14 minutes in, Arnold already has created a clear-cut chance wiping a lofted cross into the box. The second goal is the same, a lofted cross into the far post of Arsenal. Willian failed to come back on time and Robertson made up for his previous mistake. When it's in the tournament for the Community Shield, Arsenal were lucky from Arnold's absence. Today when he's in the starting 11, he did start to produce treats to Arsenal. However, he did make several unnecessary mistakes today, so it is probably not the best choice to choose him as the man of the match today. I think there are two worthy contenders today. One of them was Alisson, who has just returned from injury and made several critical saves today. But if I had to choose, Salah would be my pick, as he did something I wished him to do in the past 2 years, which is to provide width when the opponent sat back, as he hugs the touchline more than the average number in the past 2 seasons. The main reason for Liverpool to level up the score so quickly is because of Salah. In that attack, he stayed wide, maximizing his pace and individual class, receiving the flick on from Firmino and burst into the box diagonally from the right, a standard wide poacher movement. With his excellent form today, he dribbled past through Tierney and finishes with his left foot. Even though Leno cleared the ball, Maine, who is next to him, took the chance and finished this off cleanly. Indeed, they build up their own attack to overcome Arsenal sitting back. After that, Liverpool took advantage of the 2 mistakes made by Arsenal behalf and made it 3-1. The first mistake is from the wrong timing to head by Bellerin and holding. Second one, David Luiz heads the cross from Arnold to Jota. If Liverpool picked up their victory only by These's 2 goals, then the conclusion today would be a lucky win, as they only win on the mistakes by the opponent. However, the well-deserved goal that levels up the scoreline when Arsenal's defence is doing their job is the sign for earning the victory by their own efforts, making it a deserved victory. Or else, Liverpool would struggle to keep the lead for the majority of the game, and it will be a different story. The best thing for Salah to do when facing the compacted defence is to always provide width to the attack, reflecting my suggestion for Salah 2 years ago applies till today. One thing to mention is that Liverpool has both ways to threat the opponent defence, either by the slow procession gameplay and to try outclassing the opponent by high crossing from both wingbacks. As I always said, Liverpool has to have the ability to perform both in order to have a wide variety of attacking. But don't get too optimistic yet, as we don't know whether Klopp only allows the 2 wingers to stay wide when they are in good shape, just as Maine didn't perform as well and didn't stay wide as often. The attacks from the right for Liverpool today outshine the left. Maine didn't stay wide in the first half. Robertson had a hard time fighting his way on the left flank and make mistakes. This clearly reveals the problems of no widths in the attacks facing the Dents, just like the current Manchester United and Chelsea. It's weird that Maine starts to stay wide after taking the lead, which means that he isn't doing it when doing it is of utmost importance. This is worrying in my opinion. However, this may be intentional as Maine and Salah stays wide in two different halves respectively, so we need a few more matches of observation to figure it out. When Arsenal were behind Liverpool, it is already close to the break and fatigue starts to appear. They have lost the best times for pressing. Considering it is not possible to strengthen the pressing after the break, Arsenal are left with two tactical options, whether to sit back or try to gain possession to fight back. If they choose to sit back while they are behind, this almost meant that they are going to lose, even conceding more goals, so they had to play fire with fire and strengthen their overall creativity, and that is when Ceballos came into play, but they need to bring him on early after the break. Yet, it is already too late not doing so. 50 minutes in, Arsenal were still struggling to find a gap to circulated the ball over the halfway line. Eventually, Liverpool won the ball back and attack, forcing Arsenal to fall back again and only had the choice to wait for a counter-attack. The first decent counter-attack is by IACA winding the ball back and drove forward leading the attack. Good effort, but he failed to make it count, having a high chance for an offside in this attack. Without Ceballos, Arsenal seldom has decent attacks, waiting for Ceballos to get into the pitch. It was when 60 minutes when we can see Ceballos steps into the pitch. 2 minutes later, he leads the attack facing the compacted defense of Liverpool and pierced through it with a low pass into the box. Unfortunately, IACA failed to finish it off. He should have gone for a first-time shot, not giving Alisson to adjust his positioning. Later on, Ceballos has done the same and pulled off a through ball into the box which punches through the entire Liverpool defense. Thanks to Alisson cleared the ball on time before Arsenal finish this chance. As you can see, Liverpool's backline is already problematic. Making mistakes, failed in attempt of an offside trap, all of these are signs that as long as Arsenal had a handful of attacks, it will be an entirely different game. It is such a pity for Arsenal. Ceballos came in late, even things got better once he stepped in. We have to acknowledge the squad depth of Liverpool in the midfield position outclasses Arsenal. Even with Ceballos, it is very likely that Liverpool could still took up half of the possession time in the second half from Arsenal. One more tactical change by substituting an additional forward should also be made to sharpen the pressing. Willian isn't in a good form today and haven't displayed much pace coming back to defend. He should be subbed off during the break instead of 67 minutes when it is already too late, and it is not enough for the upcoming player to make an impact. Pepe is a considerable option already, and Saka was in good form recently. The lack of boldness and experience for Mikel Arteta in substituting is the fundamental reason for Arsenal not being able to score the second goal. As the poor clearance is made by David Luiz, the score ended in 3-1. It is not that David Luiz had poor performance throughout the game as he did made world-class clearance occasionally, yet, he had to learn to judge which type of clearance best suits the situation. You'll realize that sometimes when he clears the ball with a header, there are chances for a shot just outside of the box. He did similar thing at 20 minutes today, and Arnold took a shot hitting the crossbar. If you wonder why it is David Luiz today instead of Gabriel today, my answer would be it is problem because Mikel Arteta realized that the success rate for header clearance wasn't so high recently. But why not just use the tallest option, Saliba? He has the best of headers. I hope that it was only because he was injured or not in good form instead of him being not good enough to win the trust of Mikel Arteta. As for Jota, even though he had less playing time, he had already shown the signs for being a decent wide poacher with decent off-the-ball movement. I'm looking forward to seeing his performance this year. Last, Liverpool actually brought up a specific approach to the pressing trap of Arsenal's goalkeeper. As Arsenal aimed to waste on pressing opponent by building up with a goalkeeper, Liverpool remains pressing only outfield players, which hugely decreases the chance for Arsenal to circulate the ball over the midfield. This proves that Liverpool had carried out studies for the recent games of Arsenal, which explains why Liverpool is a champion contender last year, as they have advanced tactics research teams. That's the end of the clip today. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next clip.